Welcome back to the deep dive. Last time, we really dove headfirst into the whole idea of crossing the chasm.
Right, that really treacherous gap. It's between those, super excited early
Yeah,
adopters
the ones who love anything new.
and then the much bigger group, let's call them the cautious mainstream market.
Exactly. And it's such a critical point. It's where so many innovations, ones that seem really promising, either make it big or honestly just fade away.
They really do. It's like a graveyard for good ideas sometimes, a make or break moment, no doubt about it.
So last time we established it's not just like a sales slump.
No, definitely not. It's fundamental. It's a big shift in how customers think, the market dynamics, everything changes. You're moving from visionary.
Pioneers.
Yeah, the pioneers who buy into the dream to the pragmatists. And the
Mm.
pragmatists, well, they need something different. What worked before, it just won't cut it now.
Their whole psychology is different. They want proven, reliable.
Complete solutions,
Yeah.
not just cool tech. They ask different questions, have different worries.
Okay, so if the chasm is that deep and the buyers are so different on the other side, how do you actually do it? How do you build that bridge without falling in?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is. And today, that's what we're tackling. We're going deep into Geoffrey Moore's strategy for this, which is powerful, but I think maybe a bit counterintuitive for some. It's called the bowling alley.
It's a brilliant strategy. And yes, definitely counterintuitive at first glance, but it's helped so many companies navigate that exact transition. It's kind of legendary in tech circles, actually.
The bowling alley. It sounds focused.
Extremely focused. And the analogy is perfect. Think about it. A bowling ball hits that head pin right at the front.
Number one pin.
Exactly. And if you hit it just right, it creates this chain reaction, knocks down the next pins, then the next.
Right, or you clear the lane.
That's precisely what the strategy aims for in a market. It's not about spraying your shots everywhere. It's about applying focused force, starting with one key point to generate momentum.
Okay, so we're going to unpack this idea. Targeting one single, very specific niche, the beachhead niche, as Moore calls it, that's the head pin.
That's your head pin. And the idea is you have to dominate it completely.
Before you even think about anything bigger, which, again, feels weird when your goal is mass market.
It does. But that initial win, getting that head pin, that's not the end goal. It's the crucial first step.
The setup for everything else.
Exactly. It creates that powerful chain reaction. It allows you then to start knocking down the adjacent market segments, the pins right behind the head pin.
One by one.
Methodically, strategically, turning what looked like a tiny niche product into potentially a major market leader. It's really a tactical masterclass.
And for you, our listener, this offers a blueprint, right? Not just for tech products, but maybe for scaling any kind of new idea or even, I don't know, your career.
Absolutely. The principles are widely applicable. It's about strategic entry and sustainable growth.
Okay, let's unpack this. So we know we need to get from the early adopters to the pragmatists across the chasm. But why this intense focus? Moore insists on this, like laser beam focus right after the early market. Why not just cast a wider net, try and grab everyone?
It seems logical, doesn't it? Go broad. But here's the core insight, and it's critical. Pragmatists, that big mainstream group you need to win over, they tend to buy from market leaders.
Ah, okay, they're risk averse.
Extremely risk averse compared to the early guys. They aren't looking for experiments. They want proven solutions. They need to see that people like them are already using this thing successfully. It needs to feel like a safe bet.
So leadership is key, even if it's leadership in a tiny market at first.
Precisely. You must establish leadership somewhere. Moore flat out says the #1 marketing goal is to achieve a pragmatist installed base that can be referenced. You need those success stories.
You need to be able to point and say, look, those guys who are just like you, they use us, and it's working great for them.
Without that proof, pragmatists just won't bite. They won't take the risk. They need validation, not just vision.
Okay, that makes sense. They prefer buying from leaders. It's almost, it feels like it goes against the grain of choice is always good.
It does seem that way.
So the path to the big market, the mass market, is actually through a tiny, tiny slice first. How do you sell that idea internally? Let's focus smaller to get bigger.
Yes, it's a tough sell sometimes. It sounds like you're shrinking your ambition. But it's strategic. Think of Moore's D-Day analogy.
Okay, like the Normandy landings.
Exactly. The Allies didn't just spread out along the whole coast. They concentrated massive force on specific beaches, Omaha, Utah, etc., to gain a foothold.
Right. Establish a beachhead.
That's the term. To dominate a new market, Moore argues, you have to initially assume all your sales will come from a single market segment. Concentrate everything: marketing, sales, development, support.
Your entire energy.
Your entire organizational energy. Win a decisive, verifiable victory in that one niche. Become the solution for that specific problem, for that specific customer.
So for you, the listener, it means fighting that urge to chase every lead, every potential customer type.
Yes. Resist spreading yourself thin. That diffusion of effort, that's often what kills companies in the chasm. It has to be a focused assault on a narrow target. Get that undeniable win first.
Because without that first win, you have no leverage, no real credibility to expand.
None. You're just another unproven product trying to get attention.
Okay, so it's this big fish, small pond idea. Deep penetration, not shallow breath. What does it really mean to segment your way to owning a market like that?
Owning it means more than just high market share in that segment. It means you become the established, the preferred, maybe even the only provider they seriously consider.
The default choice.
The default choice for those specific customers. And Moore says, once you reach that point, the pragmatists in that niche actually conspire to help keep you there.
Conspire. How so?
Well, think about it. They've invested in your solution, they trust it, they've integrated it. Switching to someone else, even if they offer a few more bells and whistles, means hassle, risk, retraining.
Yeah, the switching costs are high, not just in money, but in effort.
Exactly. So this dominance creates significant barriers to entry for any competitors, regardless of their size or the added features they have on their product. Pragmatists prefer the known leader, the safe choice. That's you.
And here's the part I find really interesting. Moore suggests that mainstream customers, deep down, actually like to be owned by a market leader. It sounds strange, but why?
It is a profound point, isn't it? It taps into their core needs. It's about simplification and security.
It makes their life easier.
Absolutely. Being owned by the leader simplifies their buying decisions. No more endless research, comparing features, second-guessing. They know who to go to.
You takes the cognitive load off.
Right, and it often improves the quality and lowers the cost of whole product ownership. The leader usually has better support, a stronger ecosystem, better integration.
More third-party tools, maybe more skilled users available.
All of that. And crucially, it provides security that the vendor is here to stay. They're not betting on a company that might disappear next year, leaving them stranded.
Okay, so they feel safer with the leader.
Much safer. Now, they still demand attention. They expect you to keep improving and meeting their needs. But fundamentally, once you've earned that leadership spot in their niche, they're kind of on your side.
Yeah, loyalty. It must be incredibly valuable.
Immensely. Moore says that owned market take on some of the characteristics of an annuity, a building block in good times, and a place of refuge in bad.
Wow, an annuity. Predictable revenue.
Exactly. With far more predictable revenues and far lower cost of sales than can otherwise be achieved, you're not constantly fighting for every single sale from scratch. You have a loyal base. That's a massive competitive edge. It turns that initial intense focus into long-term stability and profit. Now, choosing this small pond, this beachhead, it's not always about picking the most obvious choice. You know, the market that looks biggest on a spreadsheet.
Oh, so it might be something less obvious.
Often, yes. In fact, the book 0 to 1 suggests that being contrarian is often critical to building a really valuable company, especially one that gets that first scalar advantage.
Okay, unpack first scalar advantage for us. Is that just being first?
Not quite. First mover is just being first to market. First scalar means you're the first to reach significant scale within a defensible niche. You build momentum, network effects, cost advantages, brand loyalty, things that make it really hard for anyone else to catch up, even if they arrive later.
Got it. So it's about scaling smartly in the right place first.
Exactly. And you're often looking for opportunities that conventional wisdom ignores or disdains. Why? Because that disregard from others, it buys you time.
Time to do what?
Time you need to refine your business model innovation into a well-oiled machine. If everyone piles into the obvious market, it's chaos. But if you pick something overlooked...
You get a bit of breathing room, a quiet period to figure things out.
Precisely. Think about some examples. Facebook. Where did it start?
Harvard. Just Harvard students.
Right. Zuckerberg's initial product was designed to get all his classmates signed up, not to attract all people of Earth. Tiny market. Seemed insignificant to outsiders. But it was perfect for building network effects in a contained, homogeneous group.
Okay. What else?
Amazon. Selling books online back when most people didn't think consumers would feel comfortable using credit cards online. It seemed risky, niche. People liked bookstores.
Gave them years to build logistics, trust.
Without massive competition breathing down their necks initially. Or Google. They launched when most people thought search was a mature commodity. Yahoo, Alta Vista, they were the big names.
Search seemed done.
Yeah, saturated. But Google focused relentlessly on better results, a simpler interface. They found a niche within the mature market, quality search.
And even Facebook again later. When they expanded, social networking was seen as maybe useless or totally dominated by MySpace.
Or both. But Facebook's targeted campus-by-campus rollout created strong local networks first. It was a contrarian-focused approach.
So 0 to 1 points out these initial markets are so small that they often don't even appear to be business opportunities at all.
Exactly. It's why, the book argues, successful network businesses often aren't started by traditional MBA types trained to find large, existing markets. They're started by people with a unique vision for an overlooked space.
It takes conviction to pour resources into something that looks tiny or unproven to everyone else.
It really does. You have to see the potential others miss and have the discipline to commit fully to that initial small pond.
Okay, so you've picked your contrarian, maybe small-looking niche. You're committed. Now, how do you actually dominate it? It can't just be about showing up. You have to deliver something special, right? Something that makes those niche customers feel like you're the only real choice.
Absolutely. Showing up isn't enough. This is where your differentiation strategy becomes absolutely critical. We draw on playing to win here. For that specific group, your target customers, your company, has to be seen effectively as a monopoly supplier.
Monopoly supplier. That sounds strong. Not literally the only one legally, but...
But in their minds, yes. You offer a unique solution that they value sufficiently to pay a price premium. Maybe it solves their specific problem perfectly. Maybe the user experience is tailored just for them. Maybe the service is exceptional for their needs.
So your whole focus has to be on
maintaining its uniqueness in the eyes of the customers. You have to be different in a way that matters to them. So much better for their specific situation that looking elsewhere doesn't even make sense. That's how you build that defensible moat in your niche.
It's about deep understanding and really over-delivering for that group. Can you give us some concrete examples, paint a picture of what that looks like?
Sure. Think about early Starbucks. Howard Schultz, in Pour Your Heart Into It, talks about their approach. They decided to assume intelligence and sophistication and inform those who are eager to learn.
So they didn't just sling coffee.
No. They educated customers about beans, roasts, brewing methods. They created an experience, a ritual almost. They treated customers like discerning individuals.
Making them feel knowledgeable, part of something.
Exactly. And by doing that, what seemed like a niche market, people willing to pay more for fancy coffee, turned out to be much bigger than anyone thought, because they created that appreciation. Their commitment to product quality was paramount, non-negotiable. That was their unique value prop.
Okay, that's powerful. What about innovation within the niche? How do you keep that edge, especially if competitors start noticing your success?
You have to keep innovating for your core customers. Look at Patagonia. Yvonne Schumann writes in Let My People Go Surfing about switching from polypropylene underwear, which had its issues.
Yeah, the infamous stink factor.
Right. They moved to new capillene polyester. Their core users, the serious outdoor folks, quickly realized the advantages, and our sales soared.
Well, the competition was still copying the old stuff.
Exactly. The competition, busy introducing rip-offs of their old lines, had to scramble to keep up. Patagonia innovated for performance, for their loyal base.
And they did something else radical, too, didn't they? With color.
Oh, yeah. Huge risk at the time. Outdoor gear was all drab tan, green, maybe rust. Patagonia introduced vivid color, things like cobalt, teal, French red, mango.
Which must have seemed crazy for functional gear back then.
Totally blasphemous, as Chouinard puts it. But it worked. It differentiated them completely. The rest of the industry spent the better part of a decade catching up. That's deep differentiation, product performance, and bold aesthetics serving that core group relentlessly. That builds fierce loyalty.
All right, so phase one complete. You picked your beachhead, you differentiated, you dominated, you're the big fish, they love you, now what? How does that win translate into the bowling alley effect? Knocking down the next pins, the adjacent markets. Seems like a big jump.
It is a big jump, but it's not a jump into the unknown if you do it right. The expansion isn't random. It's highly strategic. You leverage everything you gained in the beachhead.
The credibility, the resources.
Exactly. The credibility, the cash flow, the customer references, the deep insights into what works. You use all that to target segments with similar needs or that are part of the same value network.
So customers who have related problems, or maybe partners you already work with.
Precisely. Your success in the first niche proves your product works, proves your company can deliver. It builds massive believability. When you approach that next adjacent segment, you're not starting cold. You arrive with a track record.
You have case studies, references.
References that the next group of pragmatists can look at and say, okay, these guys solved a similar problem for those folks. Maybe they can solve it for us too. It dramatically lowers their perceived risk.
You're selling a proven success story, not just a product spec sheet.
That's it. You've de-risked the decision for them.
And I assume economies of scale start kicking in here too. As you add more customers, even in adjacent segments, things get more efficient.
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge part of the momentum. As 0 to 1 notes, a monopoly business gets stronger as it gets bigger. Your fixed costs.
R&D, management, maybe manufacturing setup.
All those get spread over more and more sales, ever greater quantities of sales. And for software, it's even more pronounced. The marginal cost of producing another copy of the product is close to 0.
So each new customer is almost pure profit, leverage-wise.
Huge leverage. This growing efficiency lets you do things competitors struggle with. You can reinvest more in R&D to stay ahead, lower prices strategically, spend more on sales and marketing to accelerate growth.
Making your offering even more attractive as you expand.
Right. It creates this positive feedback loop. Success breeds more resources, which breeds more success. You gain pricing power and more resources, making it harder and harder for others to compete as you knock down more pins.
Okay, so you're looking at the next pin. It needs to be adjacent, related.
Yeah.
But you also need to think about the competition. How do you choose which adjacent market, considering what rivals might do? It's not just about finding an open door, is it?
No, definitely not just about an open door. This demands really sharp, perceptive competitor analysis. Michael Porter's work in competitive strategy is key here. You need to build a detailed profile of the nature and success of the likely strategy changes each competitor might make.
So anticipate their moves, like chess.
Exactly like chess. You need to figure out each competitor's probable response to the range of feasible strategic moves other firms could initiate. You're asking, who should we pick a fight with? And with what sequence of moves?
And also, if they make a move, what does it really mean? How serious is it?
Precisely. It's about being strategic and proactive, not just reacting when a competitor suddenly appears in your next target segment. You choose your battles carefully, understanding the likely counter moves and ripple effects. You want the lane where you have the highest probability of scoring another strike, considering the other players.
So it involves constantly reading the tea leaves, looking for market signals from competitors. What kind of signals are we talking about?
Anything, really. Any action a competitor takes that gives you a clue about their intentions, motives, goals, or internal situation. It could be obvious, like a major product launch aimed at an adjacent space.
Or more subtle?
Much more subtle sometimes. A targeted price cut in a specific region. A sudden hiring push for engineers with certain skills. Announcing a new partnership. Even negative signals, like layoffs in a particular division, tell you something about their focus or struggles.
So reading these signals helps you decide where to go next and how to position yourself.
Exactly. It informs your timing, your messaging, maybe even product features for that next segment. It's ongoing intelligence gathering.
Let's make this concrete. The Olay example from Playing to Win seems relevant here. They created a new masstige segment. Can you explain that term again and how Olay used its strengths for this move?
Sure. Masstige. It's a clever blend of mass and prestige. So offering a product with a premium feel, higher quality ingredients, better results, but selling it through mass market channels.
Like drugstores and supermarkets, not department stores.
Right. Olay's move was a strategic expansion into an adjacent space. They didn't try to beat Estee Lauder at the department store counter. Instead, they leveraged P&G's core strengths.
P&G is good at mass market distribution, understanding those shoppers.
Exactly. P&G excels in categories where consumers are highly involved, where they care a good deal about product experience and performance, like skincare. Olay delivered a demonstrably better product than typical drugstore fare, tapping into that desire for results. And critically, they used P&G's strong relationships with mass retailers to get prominent shelf space and distribution.
So they carved out a new space between mass and prestige, playing to their own strengths.
Perfectly put. It was a brilliant flanking maneuver into an adjacent segment, leveraging existing capabilities to create a highly profitable new category, avoiding a direct, costly fight with entrenched luxury brands. Textbook bowling alley expansion.
Okay, so you're moving down the alley, knocking over pins, you've expanded beyond the beachhead. How do you keep that momentum going? How do you stop competitors from coming in and disrupting these new segments you've just entered? You can't just take them for granted.
No, you absolutely can't. Sustaining momentum is an active, ongoing process. You have to keep raising the bar. The key is to continuously drive both demand and technological advancement in a way that favors your strengths.
Keep pushing the envelope.
Exactly. Look at the dynamic between Microsoft, Intel, and the disk drive companies, as described in The Innovator's Dilemma. Microsoft, with its dominance in operating systems and applications.
Windows, Office.
Right. They kept creating software that needed more power. They successfully marketed software packages that consume massive amounts of disk memory and require ever faster microprocessors to execute.
So Windows needed faster Intel chips. Office needed bigger hard drives.
Precisely. They weren't just meeting existing demand, they were actively creating demand for more powerful hardware. This essentially increased the slopes of the trajectories of improvement, demanded by their customers to parallel the slope of improvement provided by their technologists.
Wow. So they made sure customer needs kept pace with what their tech partners like Intel could deliver, keeping everyone on an upgrade treadmill that they controlled.
That's a good way to put it. They ensured that the market always demanded capabilities that they and their core partners were best positioned to provide. This kept them positioned closest to the top of the market, which is usually the most profitable place to be.
So it's about continuously shaping the market, defining what good looks like, always staying one step ahead in those newly acquired segments.
Exactly. You're constantly moving the goalposts in a way that plays to your advantages, making it harder for others to catch up or find a disruptive angle within the segments you now occupy. It's proactive market shaping, not just passive expansion. Now, this intense focus, the laser beam on the beachhead and then the adjacent pins, it's powerful, it's necessary, but it's not without its dangers. Porter highlights the risks of focus. You can't just put blinders on forever.
Right, you could get too locked in, become inflexible.
That's a big risk. The market doesn't stand still. Porter points out a few ways this can bite you. First, the cost differential widens. Maybe a broad competitor achieves massive scale across many markets, and suddenly their costs are way lower than yours. Even in your niche, your focus advantage evaporates.
Okay, so scale could eventually trump focus on the cost side.
It can. Second, the differences in desired products between the strategic target and the market as a whole narrows. What made your niche special might just become mainstream. Everyone starts wanting what you offer.
So your unique differentiation gets eroded. You become less special.
Exactly. And third, maybe the scariest one, competitors find sub-markets within the strategic target and outfocus the focuser. Someone comes along and carves out an even more specialized niche within your niche. They do to you what you did to the bigger market.
Ouch. Beaten at your own game.
Yeah.
So it's this constant tension. You need focus to win, but you need awareness and flexibility to keep winning.
Precisely. It requires vigilance. You have to constantly scan the horizon, which reminds me of Sam Walton's mantra in Made in America, stay lean, fight bureaucracy.
How does that connect?
Walton believed top management had a constant responsibility to be thinking about this issue all the time to ensure a sound future, even if it meant tough calls like job elimination, to stay nimble and efficient. It's about preventing the organization from becoming slow and complacent, which makes you vulnerable to those risks of focus. You need to stay adaptable.
So maintain the focus, but also maintain the ability to shift that focus when needed.
That's the balancing act. And of course, none of this strategy happens in a vacuum. It's all executed by people, teams, individuals, and getting everyone aligned behind this kind of focused, often demanding strategy. That's leadership.
Yeah, keeping everyone pulling in the same direction, especially during that intense beachhead phase.
It's crucial. The book Extreme Ownership makes a great point. Senior leaders explain how their role contributes to big picture success. It seems obvious, but it's often not. This is not intuitive and never as obvious to the rank and file employees as leaders might assume.
People need the why, Why this niche? Why this intense effort right now? How does my little piece fit in?
Exactly. Connecting their daily tasks to the overall strategic mission, knocking down that headpin, setting up the next ones is vital for motivation and effective execution. Without that clear why, effort can become scattered or misdirected.
And sometimes leaders need to really rally the troops under pressure. I'm thinking of that story about Elon Musk from Ashley Vance's biography. Early 2013, Tesla was in trouble.
Right. They had cars built but needed to convert reservations into actual sales fast.
Yeah, idle factories, burning cash. So Musk basically pulled people from everywhere, recruiting, the design studio, engineering, finance.
All hands on deck.
Totally. Ordered them to get on the phone, call people, and close deals. He was blunt. If we don't deliver these cars, we are fucked. He even personally guaranteed the resale value of the Model S.
Wow. That's extreme ownership and intense focus personified. Whatever it takes to hit that critical target, that beachhead objective of converting reservations to sales, it shows the level of commitment sometimes required.
It really does.
Mhm.
But it's not always about pressure and fear, right?
Yeah,
Building that committed team can also come from a different place.
absolutely. Look at Starbucks again. Pour your heart into Lizout. It emphasizes, treat people like family and they will be loyal and give their all.
Even when times were tough.
Especially then. There's a story about increasing healthcare benefits when the company wasn't even profitable. The board was skeptical, but Schultz saw it as a core strategy, investing in their people.
Because that loyalty, that commitment from the employees, translates directly to the customer experience.
Which is essential for winning and holding that beachhead and then expanding. That internal culture fuels the external strategy. It creates the consistency needed for the annuity.
It makes me think of Sam Walton again, with his 10-foot rule.
Ah, yes. Simple but powerful.
He made associates solemnly promise,
Yeah.
every time a customer comes within 10 feet, I will smile, look him in the eye, and greet him.
Oh.
He didn't just see it as customer service, he framed it as personal development.
Saying it would help you become a leader, your personality develop.
Yeah, it shows how you can instill that mission, that customer focus, at every single level. Every interaction reinforces the strategy, making the whole organization part of that focused effort to own their space.
And finally, it's important to remember, the bowling alley, while focused, isn't usually the end of the vision. It's a means to a larger end. Think about Jeff Bezos.
At Amazon, he didn't just want to sell books forever.
Not at all. The Everything Store details how Bezos always had a large appetite. He planned to expand way beyond books from the start, but crucially, it was just a question of staging the opportunities at the right time.
So the bowling alley approach applied to category expansion.
You could see it that way. He methodically researched adjacent categories, music, video, software. He didn't jump randomly. He assessed the market, the competition, and how Amazon's existing strengths, logistics, customer base, trust could apply to that next pin, that next category.
One deliberate, well-researched step at a time.
Exactly. It's disciplined expansion built on the foundation of previous successes. Each conquered niche becomes the launch pad for the next bigger ambition.
So that narrow focus for the initial strike isn't short-sighted at all. It's actually the key enabler of a much larger long-term vision. It's building enduring power, step by step.
Beautifully put. It's patience, precision, and audacity combined.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what we've really explored today is that crossing the chasm successfully isn't about some wild, desperate jump. It's this deliberate, strategic bowling alley game plan.
Yeah, resist that temptation to go wide too soon.
Right? Start small. Find that perfect beachhead niche, that head pin. Focus all your energy, differentiate like crazy, and totally dominate it. Become the big fish.
And then leverage that win. Use the momentum, the credibility, the cash, the learnings.
To strategically move into the adjacent segments. Knock down those next pins one by one, building on your strengths.
Until, potentially, you've cleared the whole lane and achieved broad market leadership, but built on a rock-solid foundation.
Connecting it all back, this whole strategy, it's really testament to, well, the power of focus. Concentrated effort, and maybe strategic patience, too.
Definitely patience. It's about truly understanding that ideal initial customer, delivering value that's so unique to them that you effectively become their only choice, their monopoly supplier in that niche.
And then using that success methodically, strategically, to grow bigger. For you, the listener, I think the takeaway is that huge impact, big success, often starts with incredible precision, depth before breadth.
It really does. Build that foundation brick by brick, pin by pin. Don't try to build the castle all at once on shaky ground.
So here's something to chew on as we finish this deep dive. Think about your own world, your work, your projects, maybe even personal goals. What seemingly small, maybe overlooked niche or tond are you currently underestimating?
Yeah, what's that single head pin out there that you're maybe not aiming at with enough focused intensity?
A pin that if you could just knock it down cleanly, might start a whole cascade, a chain reaction of success for you. Are you seeing potential pins as isolated, when maybe they could be strategically connected?
Go find that head pin and make that first decisive strike.